Hey guys, Mike here with Marmalade Outdoors, and welcome to How I Pack My Pack. Now, for the veterans out there that have done a lot of this is not going to help you in any way, but this is made more for people that are just more getting into it or have been doing it a long time, but maybe they're not only too heavy, but their pack's uncomfortable and they're not sure why. Now, this could be because it's not properly fit or because you are too heavy, but I want to show you how I pack my pack, because one of the key things to being comfortable and having this pack be comfortable is packing it correctly and distributing the weight correctly vertically. So I'm going to go over that right now. All right, I want to preface what I'm about to tell you is that I just have two quilts stuffed in here to keep this some shape into this. It's not a gear video. I'm not going to show you every single thing I put in and out of here, but I'm going to explain the kind of things I put on my pack. Obviously, we all carry different gear, so maybe what I put in there won't matter to you anyway. So I'm just going to tell you how I get to where I get and how I distribute the weight so it's comfortable. So let's go with the inside. So the inside is basically, as I talked about, we want to do this vertically right. This is a Z-Packs Arc Haul Ultra backpack. It's 50 liters. And this is my second one. I love this pack. Fits me really well. Very light. It weighs like 20 ounces, 21 ounces. But what I do is in the morning, I pack up most of my stuff in the tent. I've made other videos about this, about how to get in and out of, get out of your tent and get on trail really fast. But basically, when I'm in the tent in the morning before I get out of the tent to get hiking and have breakfast and all that, I start packing up my pack. Probably 70% of the way before I even get out. It takes 5 minutes. So the first thing I do with this is I get out of my quilt, let the air out of my air mattress. I stuck my quilt, and I'm not going to open this up and show you, but I have a trash compactor, a white trash compactor bag as my liner for my pack. And the first thing I put on the bottom is my quilt. So I just stuff it in there loose. I do not have a stuff sack for it. You will save so much space if you try this tip. Just try it out if you're not doing it. Save me probably this much space in my backpack. So put your quilt in there loose. Next thing I'll do is, depending on the weather and what it's going to be like that day, I'll put like an extra, like maybe my mid layer, my Senchi sweater, or maybe my jacket if I don't need it, if it's like summertime and warm weather. Things like that. I'll put those in the bottom. And the thing you want, and I'll get to it, you want the heaviest thing in the center of your pack vertically this way. So I'm not only putting things that I don't need when I get to camp at the end of the day, but I'm also building a base for my heaviest thing, which I'll get to. So I put jackets in there. I've got some odds and ends I put in there. I'm creating a base. Then the last thing I do, one of the many things I've talked about is not having so many bags. The next thing I do is, and sometimes I have my Gossamer Gear Thin Light pad. It's a 1/8 inch foam pad. I fold that, put it in there on top of the quilt and the odds and ends stuff. And then the last thing before the heaviest thing is I fold up my air mattress. You don't need a stuff sack for it. It's in the backpack. So why have it in a stuff sack? So I fold it up in a rectangle so it fits like this, so it fits right into my backpack. And that is the base. And the next thing I do is I pull out the snacks for my day. I put the snacks for the day out here outside, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then hopefully I don't need to get my food bag for the rest of the day till dinner. So I put my food bag, and let me grab it real quick actually. All right, so here's my food bag here. So after I've built that base, and the last thing was my air mattress, this goes in there. I generally put it to keep it a rectangle shape like this, like this. I put it in there in my backpack, and that is usually my heaviest thing in the pack, not including water, which we'll talk about in a minute. So once I get that in there, I have I have a pee bottle, and I have a very light mag that has all my odds and ends stuff. It has like compression socks and maybe my bug net and just some odds and ends stuff. I put that in there, and I fill the voids with all the odds and ends stuff that I have, my beanie, things like that. And like I said, I'm not going to list everything, but once I get the food bag in there, I'm filling all the voids so it doesn't take up a lot of space. And I'm also trying to balance each side so my pack's not heavy on one side or the other. If I have different things, I'll kind of even the weight out on both sides, on each side. And so at the top, I generally put my tent, because now I've packed up. I get out of my tent, pull out the last few things out of my tent, and then I put my tent away, and it goes inside my pack, but on the top. So it's the first thing I grab when I get to camp. The other thing I'll put on top sometimes in here, because I used to have a 62 liter, now I have a 50, so I have less room. So I sometimes will put my rain jacket inside on top, or even on the top with this strap under these straps, but have it on top if it's going to be an iffy rainy day. So I have it somewhere nearby, I can grab it, and I don't have to empty my whole backpack. So definitely give it some thought when it comes to how you want to do it. Most thru hikers or people that are experienced put their tent somewhere near the top. So when you get to camp, especially if you're exhausted, it's the first thing you set up. What if you get to where a thunderstorm's coming in and you're racing to get to camp? You know, you don't want to empty everything out in the rain and things like that. If the tent is on top, you just take it out, put it up, and then you can get everything inside and be dry. So that kind of covers the inside as quickly as I could. With like I said, your gear is going to be totally different than mine. Let's talk about the outside now. All right, starting on the side pockets, I usually bring a 1.5 liter bottle. If it's depending on the water situation on trail, sometimes I bring one if there's lots of water, like the Sierra. But if there's not as much water, I need to carry more water. I'll bring 2 of these. I'd rather bring 2 1.5 liter bigger ones than 4 1 liters, which I did before. You get to a creek and you got 4 1 liter bottles rolling all over the place, you know. So yeah, obviously I have pockets here that these are a little bit smaller than some of the packs I've had. But it fits that, and if I ever want to put a trekking pole in here and tie it up, if I want to get the trekking poles out of my hand, they go in here vertically and go into these straps here, so I can just get them out of my hands. If I know I have like a flat area for maybe 5-10 miles and I don't want to carry my poles and give my hands a break. So anyway, so you have the water bottles there. There's one on each side, of course. And then we can go on this side too. So on the front, I just have the waist belt pockets here. I think most packs have those. I have a water bottle holder on the front. And then this side I usually have my Garmin on this, so it kind of semi spreads the weight out a little bit. But yeah, nothing super different here. Okay, as I said, we'll go to the front pocket, which most packs have, not all, but most do. So what I decided to do, I've got my stuff. I always talk about weight of things and this physical size of things. I've got my things, and I'm continuing. I'm going to do a video pretty soon of all the new stuff I have for 2025, either replacing old gear or something new. But I'm always seeking lighter, but also physically smaller, because then I was able to go from a 62 liter, like I said, down to 50. And so what I like about this pack is it has an ample pocket here. And that helped me get some of the things that are normally in here outside the pack, so I don't need such a big backpack. Now, what I do is, and this is very important when you pack your pack, try not to just put random things in here. I put things that I need during the day that I will most likely touch. Now, there's days when it's sunny and you bury your rain jacket, and then in the middle of the day it starts raining just out of the blue, especially in the mountains, and you have to dig out the pack. It happens once in a while, but many, many days, I'll bet you 8 or 9 out of the 10 days I hike, I never get into my pack all day because I have everything pulled aside on the outside that I generally need normally. So let's go over kind of what I put in here. So normally what I do is on this side I have, so I do have reader glasses, and then I have these sunglasses that are readers. So when I'm hiking, I have reader sunglasses so I can see the trail clear and appreciate the views. And then I have a very ultralight glass case here with my reader glasses, and then I just switch them out when I get to tent camp, or if it's dark out, I'll switch my sunglasses for that. So I carry just a plastic super light glass case so they don't get crushed. I have my Deuce of Spade poop trowel down here in a Ziploc with some of those coin towels you get wet and you can use to clean up, or even if you want to wash off at a river and just clean up your body. I have my right here is my ground sheet. It's a DCF ground sheet for my tent, and I have a rubber band around that with a little piece of Tyvek that I use for it's like a 2x2 foot piece of Tyvek for my doorstep outside my tent. And then over here is my stakes. I have a little DCF bag with my stakes, and so for my tent. And then when we go over here, I have a few things. So I have a DCF. I don't have a lot of bags, I told you, but I have DCF bags if I do, because they weigh 1/10 of 1 ounce. So they almost weigh nothing. They're as light as air. But over here I'll have my water filter, and I have a couple extra bottle caps in there, and I have a scoop in case I get, it saved my life a few times, a plastic scoop in case I get to a trickle of water and I can't get my bottle or something in the water. I mentioned my snack bag. I put my DCF snack bag here. So I pulled out all my snacks for the day. So every time I take a break, as a beginner, I'd have to dig in my pack and get my food bag and do all that and repack. Now I just grab my snack bag for the day, and that's what I munch on all day. And then lastly is another DCF bag from Z-Packs, and it's called the Diddy bag. It's a little bigger, and I have a Ziploc that has all my first aid stuff in it, and also a Ziploc that has all my electronics, my batteries to charge my stuff up with, and cords to plug everything in, and my headlamp, things like that. And those are in Ziplocs to keep them kind of waterproof in case it rains. But that's all on the outside here, and that's what I carry. And if I don't think I'm gonna need it during the day, I don't put it on the outside. Lastly, we'll talk about bear canisters. I don't know about you, I hate them. They're necessary, they save bears' lives, but I hate them. And it's always a problem where to put them, how to properly balance them. So we're going to talk about this. Now, I know, and most of the places you don't need these. Some people bring them to places you don't need them. It's just to protect the bears. I live in California, so the Sierra Mountain Range is where you need these for the most part. I know you need them other places, but that's where I use them. And I try to always get away with the smaller one, the BV450 if I can. When I was doing the PCT, I left Kenny Meadows and went all the way out. I did Whitney and Kearsarge pass out, and it was 9 days. I carried 9 days of food in a bear can. It's supposed to carry 4. I know I'm very crafty. I know that I lose my appetite. I also repackage things and refine it so that I don't have any extra, space in there. I don't bring full packages of stuff that take up lots of room and have lots of garbage. So that's how I do it. I do not bring this unless I just have to. But I want to talk about how to pack it in your pack. So so let's start with the smaller one. So how do I use it? When you watch my videos in the Sierra, you can't see the bear canister. You can't see you sticking out. And what I do is, I'm gonna show you how I do this. Now remember, the heaviest thing is supposed to be in the middle. So what I do is, how I'm doing it now is I put it in my pack like this. I build up my base, and then my pack ends up being about, I'm gonna show you right about here in my pack. So I build up the base, and then I put it in like this. I mainly do this because I want a flat surface against my back. And I'll actually put my inflatable pillow. That's one of the things I told you I'd jam in here. I didn't say it, but I put it in here. I'll put because when it's empty, when it doesn't have air, it's pretty flat. So I'll put it right here. So I have a little padding against my back. I also have spacing here. So between the two things, I shouldn't feel it on my back if I pack my pack right. So if you are, if you can get away, or you're doing a shorter like weekend trip in the Sierra, you can get away with the smaller canister. Do it. It's lighter and it just takes up less space. I prefer to have every single thing in my pack. I don't like things on top or hanging and all that stuff. All right, that's that. Now let's go over the bigger one. All right, so this could be difficult. Now, depending on how big your pack is, like I've gone minimalistic with my pack and my gear, but if you have a bigger pack, a lot of packs fit them in vertically, and you can put them in there. But you can see if I put this in there, let's turn this around. If I put this in my pack, look how much space of entire pack it takes, all the liters it takes. So how do you get around it? How do you have a smaller pack and get around it? Well, I got the solution for you. So what you do is I have the Y strap on here. I'm going to take this off and show you, or hook it, I should say. So Y strap like that is made for bear canisters. You can still do it with a single one. It just makes the bear canister sometimes flip around. And so what you'll do is, I'm not going to do all this, but what you do is you loosen this up, and this canister goes on top. Let's do that. It goes like this. It will go on top. And then what you do is these two straps, and I'm not going to unlook because it just takes a while. This strap goes over the top. You can see, I'm going to turn it around this. So it goes over like this, these two straps, and over, and they hook up so it stays on top. Now I'm going to give you a pro tip that some people know, but surprisingly even experienced people don't know. When you do this, I have a bunch of stuff in here, so it's kind of heavy, so that kind of acts like the regular food bag. But what you don't know with the places where you're required to have a bear canister is that, I'll give you an example for the Sierra. I can't speak for anywhere else, but I know the Sierra rules. You're required to have a permit, and you're required to have a bear canister, and have to have an approved one. But what people don't know, and I looked this up in the Forest Service rules, and I heard it was a rumor, but I didn't really think it was true. But during the day when you're hiking, you are not required to have any food in the bear can. So why does that matter? Well, when you put this thing that weighs 15, 20 pounds on top of your pack, it gets super, super uncomfortable. I'm a tall guy, and then having that canister on here, it makes me top heavy, makes it very uncomfortable and difficult to hike. So what is the alternative? What can you do? Because you need to have food, you need to have your bear can. Well, I'm going to tell you. So what I would do is, actually, let me grab my food bag again. So what you can do is you get your food bag. Remember I told you pull out your snacks for the day? Then in the morning, put all your food in here, right? And put that like you were at a place where there are no bear canisters required, but you put that in the normal place, your food in the food bag. And what you do is you pull out, to make room, you pull out some things for the food bag. Pull out light things like socks and shirts and things like that, and anything in your pack that's light, and put it in your bear canister. Your canister is going to be empty because you put all your food in there, and this goes on top. This way, you've pulled some things out of your pack to make room for your food bag, but this is nice and light. And then when you get to camp, you are required to transfer everything in your bear can, and it has to be in there overnight. So just keep that in mind. If you get stopped by a ranger, they want to know if you have a bear can and if you have a permit, but they don't care during the day. They won't care if your food's actually in the bear can. So I think that's a wise way to pack your pack. So I hope that helps any. All right, these are some of the things I like sharing and I sometimes take for granted, but it's things I had to learn the hard way. So I hope they help you. Let me know if you already do this or if it's something new for you, if it's news to you. Let me know if there's some other things you want to know about that I do that maybe I take for granted. I try to show my cook kits and different things I do. But if there's something else you want to know that I haven't shown or not in a while, let me know. The main thing I'd like you to do, if you can, hit that like button. That helps with the algorithm. Hit the, of course, subscription button to subscribe. That helps a lot. It's all free. It really helps out the channel and helps it reach out to more people. And then hit the notification bell in the upper right if you want to be notified every time I post a new video. And that's all I got for you now. Until the next one, we'll definitely see you down the trail.